What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator with me, the Virtual Mechanic, and today's project, this beautiful Plymouth Fury, modded in by Fulysic, looking pretty insane. It's not looking too bad. It's looking very complete as well, and it is a beautiful, beautiful styled car with an excellent body. Let's jump in. It is the stock edition with the white roof, I do believe. 319,000 kilometers on it, and we got it from the auction house where it's in. I've definitely seen a lot worse. It's not bad at all. 43% for the interior, frame and body parts both on 29%, with the overall parts up to 39%. Not bad at all. Did we get a good deal? We did, actually. 13,057 I paid for it and could sell it for 13,821, making a profit of 764 before we even start. Excellent. That is what we like to see. And this one does have my favorite engine in it, the V8 overhead valve 6P. And we could swap it out for the supercharger. It is the only one that's more powerful, but this one's going to look awesome when we paint it, depending on what color we go for on the body of this beautiful Plymouth Fury. Looking absolutely insane, and it's not too bad. In fact, there's a big hole in it there, so we're going to have to repair that at some point a bit later on as we go around. It's not looking too bad. I've definitely seen plenty worse, and it's not even that dirty, but regardless, it's time to get this one over to the car wash. Let's get it started. Let's get this one cleaned up. Here we are then at the car wash. It's not too bad, so we don't even need to guess what colour it is. We can see that it's red under there. Looking pretty sweet. Is it going to change much once we clean it? Not really. Still some rust patches. It does look a bit shinier, I suppose, but apart from that, it's not really that much different. Let's get the interior done. Let's get it back on the lift. It doesn't actually... Oh, a little bit there. That is the interior right there. There we go. Let's get this one back on the lift and get that engine ripped out. Car's up in the air. Time to check for that oil pan. Is it in there? It is indeed. That gearbox looked incredibly shiny. Not what we're aiming for. Let me just... That looks really shiny compared to everything else. Looks like it's painted white, if that makes sense. But there we go. Let's get this oil all drained out of here. There we go. Very dirty in there. Definitely glad we got that out. Let's get underneath. Let's get this drive shaft. Oh, missing. Drive shaft and gearbox out of here. Here we go. Out comes the drive shaft. At least I can see that the exhaust looks pretty much all there, which is always a good sign as we move on. Let's get the starter out. Out you come. And then out with this lovely gearbox as well. Off you come. And not many rusty bolts. Off to a definite good start. We'll get off these front exhaust sections. And I think we'll go for these ones as here, just to be on the safe side. Out you come. And let's get this one down on the ground. What is... Oh, that's just the light beam shining through. Okay, I thought the car was smoking or something. I've never seen that in the game. That's the new feature. Let's move the crane over. Let's get this engine ripped out of there. Down in below. Out you come. Looking sweet. That came out nice and easy. That is what I like. Let's jump in and see what we got going on inside the engine bay. A lovely angled mounted fuse box. Let's just grab the cover off of that. Lots of fuses in there. Looking pretty awesome. We've also got a battery. The brake servo. Radiator with fluid inside and the wishy-washy reservoir. Is that everything? That looks to be everything up the front end here. Pretty sweet. What do we got down the back? Let's just check it from here. Nothing missing. So let's just go and grab that fuel pump out of there. Nice and easy while we can. Let's get back up here. Oh, there we go. Power steering reservoir hidden just down at the bottom there. I almost missed that one. Let's jump over to this side. Click on the wishy-washy reservoir because that might be a bit easier. There we go. From here, I can drain all of them. So additional tools, drain tools, and then click and hold on the cap. And then the little syringe will come up, and then I'll be back in just a minute. There we go. That's all the liquids drained. Let's start ripping some of this out. Let's start with the wishy-washy reservoir, the power steering reservoir, and the brake servo up there. Then we just got the radiator. This is a very simple one. And the battery there. Obviously, we're going to grab the fuse box, all the fuses, and I'll grab that in a little bit. But that is... Well, that was it for the engine bay. That was quite easy. So let's get one of these wheels off. I would start with the one with 2 rusty bolts, wouldn't I? On we go. Just get them out nice and easy. Out you come. And see what we've got going on underneath. So it's a double wishbone there. Looking great. We've got the sway bar end link. We've got the inner and outer tie rod. And we've got the hubcap and bearing. It was all complete. All the wheels on. So it's always a good sign. All of the rubber bushings. Sway bar end link. Inner and outer tie rod. Hubcap and bearing. All there as well. That's looking pretty sweet. Let's jump down the back and get one of these wheels off. That's the drum. Get one of these wheels off and see what we got going on. Already now knowing that we got drum brakes at the back. Bit of a shame, but there we go. What have we got then? The leaf springs. We've got the plate. We've got the bolts. We've got the rubber bushings. That's all looking complete as well. On this side, pretty fantastic. Bushings, plate, bolts, Shock. All there, absolutely brilliant. That is what we like to see. I'm going to get all of this stripped out, including this fuse box, if I could get up there. There we go. And then we're going to go and sort out the engine before we come back and take care of all of this beautiful car's lovely bodywork. I'll see you in a bit. That's everything repaired, replaced, or upgraded, ready to go back on the beautiful Fury. But we need to sort this bodywork out. So let's just get all of this stripped off and see where we end up. The lights do stay floating. That's something interesting to know there. There we go. Out with the windshield, off with the door. And the mirror that isn't attached to the door. I quite like that. That's interior. Where we've got body window. Does this trim anything? Doesn't look like it. No. Rear bumper. Rear tail light. There we go. In there. Not in there. Let's carry on around. What was that? Right fender. Did we get the fender? Yeah, there was no fender on the other side. Back around, out with the door, and then out with the other mirror. And that should be everything. Let's just whip this interior out real quick. I believe, has this only got one seat in it? Let's have a look. Just the one seat. There is no back bench on this one, just a front bench. That's pretty exciting. I kind of wish there was something in the back, though. It's going to look pretty empty in there. Never mind. Let's see if that was everything. Over we go. 1%, that's a good sign. And then nothing on there. Fantastic. Where are we? So we are at 29% on the frame. Let's go and get that sorted out. Let's bring you over. What do we reckon? 29%. I'm going to say 900. 650. Not far off, but still wrong. And nonetheless, let's go check out the tuning shop for this one and see what we can get. So we got a few different front bumper options. I believe this is a broken model. That's why it sits on the side, but it's intentionally broken. It's like a damaged Christine from the film For Sale, damaged and wrecked. We've got a couple of different front ends on there. Going to be fun figuring out which one goes with which. Then we got some door options, some front fender options. Another hood on there. Two different hood choices for that. Maybe one's broken and one's not. That's the destroyed one with the for sale sign in the window there. We won't be using that today. One headlight, two different tail light options. Not sure about them. Couple of bumpers, one broken, obviously. Then we got some rear fenders, bit broken. That one's broken there. A few different ones to play around with on there. Different windscreen option, or rear window options even, sorry. And that looks to be it. So, two different trunk options there. That's pretty cool. So let's have a play around with this then. I'm going to see what I like, see what I don't like, see what turns out where. And I will be back in just a little while before we head over to the paint shop to see if there are any beautiful liveries to go on this Plymouth Fury. Time to get the Fury all back together then. Here she is, looking wonderful, wonderfully bare. Let's get this all back together. So I did learn something. The interior in there is technically part of the bodywork. So if we go for the front end, I've gone for the front end A, or the first front end. That gives you red seats fixed, looking lovely. The part B is broken front end / sort of broken seats. Part C is black interior, and I'm assuming part D is broken black interior. So there's that. I've swapped it out as the front bumper C because this one doesn't have that line across there. I think that looks pretty sweet. Obviously, we've got a hood on there. Hood A and hood B. One's fixed, one is not. On we go. Fenders, you've got a couple of different options. You've got the... so you've got this one here that's got the fin and a wide stripe. Then you've got the one without the fin and without the wide stripe. We kept it with the wide stripe because it fits in with the rest of the build. Looking pretty sweet. Headlights were just the headlights. So let's just get them on. And we'll go in with that mirror as well. Windshield was the windshield. There's two options. I think one of them is meant to be broken, but I just stuck with the original one on there. For the doors, we kept them as the base standard doors because they've got red interior and the line matches up with the 3 grooves. The other options you've got a black interior on the door and no grooves, or different grooves. I couldn't quite work it out fully, but we'll have another look. In with the body kit, in with the rear fenders. So the rear fenders, you've got this cover, no text, and a plain one. Or sorry, this one with everything on it. Then you've got one with just the text, no underbit, and then one with no text and no underbit as well. We thought we'd keep the text on there because it says Fury, looking pretty sweet. Rear window is also part of the bench seat. That fixes that. That makes that look awesome. So you've got a black one and a red one of that. Trunk, you've got a broken and a non-broken. And the tail lights, they were a bit weird. There's 2 tail lights for either side, but the B's don't match up, so I didn't bother sticking with them for whatever reason. One's pretty cool, blacked out with like a little LED inside, and the other one looks very much just like that one. So it's a bit of a shame on that, but never mind. Rear bumper, there's just a broken one and a non-broken one. We're going for the non-broken. And then the rear left fender is the same as the other side, but with a broken one as well, and a fuel door on there. We've kept them with the cover bits there, looking pretty sweet. Let's carry on around, on with the door, in with the window, and that should be most of the bodywork, apart from the engine cover. Now, I said we're going to keep the 6p engine because it's going to look awesome when I paint it, but look at the size of this engine cover. But it is very detailed. It looks pretty sweet, although you've got a yellow block down there, so maybe we'll just keep our block yellow. It's not a bad colour to go with. Quite pleased with that. Let's move on. I think that is most of this. We've obviously got to get the interior in. Now, I know technically the interior is in, but you do still need a front bench to sit on. So we've got the steering wheel, kept it as the cape wheel, sitting next to us there, looking beautiful. And then the front bench just fits in underneath, or mostly underneath that bench, but it gives you a place to sit. If I come out of that, you can see that there is a little gap there. I'm just going to whip this door off real quick. You can't sit on that, no matter how hard you try, but if you click that bit there, there you go. You can sit on it, which is fantastic. Actually, quite pleased with that. I think it doesn't look overly great, but it functions absolutely perfectly. Just some plates to go on. I've just gone for my VM plates with Fury 1 written on there because why not? It is an awesome looking Fury. Let's get the rear plate. There we go. That should be everything. Let's just have a quick double check. Out of this mode into this mode. That's not the right screen, but 100%, 100%, 100%, absolutely fantastic. Let's head over to the paint shop and see if there's any cool liveries to go with the Fury today. And if not, what colour we're going to go, especially as we're going to keep the engine block looking mostly yellow in there. Let's have a look. Let's go find out. I must admit, this Plymouth Fury looks absolutely beautiful. I'm just admiring it as I'm going around there. Looking incredible. Well, let's see if we've got any liveries. We have. That's a good start. So what have we got then? Slot number 1 is this rat look-ish. Obviously, the white parts are still incredibly clean, but the body itself has got a very wild patina on it, looking very sorry for itself. Definitely not what we're going to be going for today. Slot number 2 is a template. There we go. That's the wheel sitting underneath there, underneath the trunk. There is a template on there. It doesn't look like it's accurate as these. I don't know. I can't answer that anyway. And that is it, just the 2. So I'm not going to be going with any of them liveries today. A bit of a shame. I'm probably not going to go with a livery. I'm just going to play it around and pick a colour. So bear with me with a couple of minutes while I play around, pick a colour, see what I like, what's going to match a yellow engine block and red interior. But this is looking pretty awesome. So give me a few minutes and I'll be right back. Here she is then. I've gone for a pearl black. I think it's going to look pretty sweet. Black and white on the body. We've got that beautiful red in the interior there, looking smart. And then we're going to have a little bit of yellow underneath inside the engine bay, obviously because the engine cover has already got that yellow on it. So we're going to build the engine to be like that. Maybe not the chrome heads, though, because, well, you know, we've got the paintable engine. Why not paint it all? We are going to try and go for that yellow. That's going to be a bit of a challenge. We're going to give it our best shot and see how close we can get it to it. Should look pretty sweet nonetheless. Bit of yellow underneath here. I'm thinking maybe just the brake calipers on a yellow at the front end to match the block there. And then mostly a black and white for the underside. Mostly black, a little bit of white. Maybe the odd splash of red in the springs or something like that. Not fully sure. But let's get to it. We need to check out what we're going to do. This is what we're going to go for. Looking stunning. I need to get some bits painted. Before I do that, though, I'd just like to point out one thing. None of these rear trims here match the door trims or the fender trims. I've just went and played. I just noticed them after I painted the car. Was like, these are inset. These are like bubbled. We got bubbled on the fender, bubbled on the door, and then these are all inset, and all of them are inset. You can't get a bubbled one. So we could theoretically change the fenders and the doors to match the inset, but then we don't get the spiky poppy-uppy bits on the front of the fenders there, so I don't really want to do that. So we're going to leave it. It's a bit of a shame. Very much a shame. It would have looked awesome, but it still looks good nonetheless, and you have to really pay attention to notice it. So, yep, I'm going to get some bits painted, then we're going to move on and get that as all of the suspension all back together before we get on and build that beautiful engine, hopefully in a nice-looking yellow. That's everything painted, ready to go back on the Fury, looking pretty good. We will find out if it looks any good on the car in a bit. So we'll get the shocks together. We've got black shocks with the yellow springs on there, looking pretty good. Very similar colour to the stand, actually. Now we're looking at it here, but let's get this on and see what it looks like all together with a mix of colours. So we've got the front suspension cross member in a pearl black there, looking pretty awesome. Let's just get these bushings in. In you go, and in you go. Then we got the lower suspension arm in white there because we got black and white on the body. That's looking pretty cool. We've already seen the shock looking great in its black and yellow there. And then we've got a white upper suspension arm as well. Looking great. Now, I was going to do the springs in red and the brake calipers in the yellow, but I could not get that yellow colour onto the brake calipers. So the brake calipers just went red, unfortunately. Bit of a shame, but they do still match the interior. Looking awesome. And obviously, we don't even have brake calipers down the back, so that's not going to matter. But that's looking pretty sweet. And just for an extra splash of yellow, I did the wheel hubcaps just in that yellow for good measure. That's looking pretty sweet. Mostly black and white, a little splash of yellow with a tiny dab of red. Let's get down the back and see what we've got going on down there. If I could, leaf spring and rear drive axle. I've done that one in white to alternate from the front, but also because the shocks needed to be black because technically it's a black shock at the front there. So then we did the leaf spring in a black as well, looking pretty sweet with the plate and the bolts both in that yellow, just to keep it tied in. Sadly, no red back here. Bit of a shame. Probably could have done them U-bolts in red, actually. But no, I wanted to keep them yellow. Sort of fit in with the colour of the build. Hopefully, that engine's going to look awesome. This is a painted yellow, which means the engine block that is a sort of yellow colour is now been repainted in this yellow colour because, well, why not? I like to paint things. So there we go. Let's just get this all back together. It shouldn't take long now. In with the drive axle, on you go. Then we've got this cylinder, then the batch or brake pads themselves, or shoes, whatever you want to call them. And then the drum back over the top, and that is that all taken care of. Not looking bad? Not looking bad in a black, yellow, and white, but we've got a few other bits to get on. So let's get this fuel tank in, along with your fuel pump. In you go. We'll get the rear end side of the exhaust all in while we're up here. And then I'll crack on and get the rest of this all done. And then we'll jump into the engine bay before we go and build the beautiful 6P engine, painted to look like the unpainted 6P engine, because that's how I roll. I'll see you up there in just a few minutes. Black, white, red, and yellow in the suspension. Not very often that I use 4 different colours, but only a little splash of red there, just on the brake calipers. Does match the interior, so it should look pretty sweet later on. But let's get the rest of this engine bay all back together. Quite a short one, so it shouldn't take long. In with the radiator, in with the battery, in with the power steering reservoir and the wishy-washy reservoir. Then we've got the brake servo, and then swing around just to the fuse box. I've done that one in a yellow. I don't think you can see it anywhere, but why not do it in a yellow nonetheless? That is it for the engine bay. A very nice and simple one. Very easy to put back together. We already got the fuel tank and the fuel pump in. Let's go and build that engine. I'm just going to finish this fuse box. I'll see you in a second. There we have it then. I've got the block in a pearl black, the oil pan in a yellow, which very much looks like the original yellow, but it is changed and painted, trust me. Looking pretty sweet. Let's carry on with this then. Let's just get the cam gear and the timing chain in. I know you've all seen this engine enough because it is my favourite engine. Kept the timing cover in the yellow, or painted it in a new yellow, which does match the oil pan there. Got the oil filter also in that same sort of orangey yellow. It is a bit orange, isn't it? It's definitely meant to be yellow, and it is in the yellow section, but it does come out a little bit orange. There you go. You're also in that yellow as well, just for good measure. On we go. We've got the arms, and they are also in that yellow, because I wanted to keep some of this at the front end here yellow, because the block underneath in the engine cover is actually yellow, but I didn't want it to be because it's just too basic for me. Sorry, it's too basic. So we're moving on. Alternator in a pearl black there, looking pretty sweet, and the power steering pump also in that pearl black, but they have got little red elements on there, so they fit well with the build. On we go. Let's get the rest of this all done. On you go, on you go. And can we get the rest of this all done from here? Maybe? I think we can, actually. Yeah, and then on with the fan. I have done the fan just in a black to finish it off. Plenty of black, plenty of yellow in there. Looking pretty sweet. Let's move on up. Ignition coil just is what it is. Fuel filter also is what it is. Then we got the distributor. Now, I have done the distributor just in a chrome because it is chrome in the cover. So we're kind of making it, try to make it look as good as we can. Cap itself in the cover is black, so we have left it black. But I have done some lovely yellow clips to go on there just to separate it up, keep it a little bit different. Onto the engine heads. The engine heads themselves are in a yellow because that's what colour they are inside the engine cover, so that is what we've gone with. Let's crack on. Spark plugs in, exhaust manifolds in. They're obviously just in chrome. I could have kept them the paintable ones, but I kind of liked it with the chrome going into the exhaust Plus, there's a few other bits on here. So I'm going to get all these valve push rods in, get the other side called up to the same place, and I'll be back in just a second. That's that all done. Rocker arms in as well. Let's just get this engine head cover on. In the engine cover, it is chrome. These painted parts just don't go chrome at all, so I just did it in a white. It does sort of fit in with the body. We do have a splash of white on there, so it should look pretty good anyway. Let's just get the other one on. Over we go. Get you on there. Not quite a perfect match, but it is what it is. Intake manifold in a yellow. It was originally chrome, but it has gone to yellow because that's what colour it is on the engine cover. Let's just get the rest of this all on because this doesn't matter. On you go. On you go. Oh, and on you go. There we go. All the carburetors in, looking lovely. Then we've got the air filter base. I've done that one in a pearl black to match with the rest of the black. We've obviously got the red on the air filter and the air filter cover in a chrome colour. Look at that, looking pretty awesome. One more thing to go on. I've missed it. There we go. Is the ignition wires. I have just done them in a black because that is the colour they are on the engine cover, which is a bit of a shame. I kind of don't like engine covers because they force my hand a little bit and I don't like it. I probably would have gone a slightly different way with this colouring if I had my own way, but it is looking pretty awesome. So I'm going to grab some pictures, and nonetheless, I actually, it does look pretty good. Black, yellow, white with a splash of red. Quite pleased with that, and it definitely fits with the build. I'm going to grab some pictures, then we'll get it dropped in the Fury. I'll see you in a second. I think it looks pretty sweet still. Very pleased with it. I'm not 100% on the white head covers there, but it is what it is. They were supposed to come out chrome, but I couldn't get chrome on these pieces. But let's get it dropped in and see what it looks like. I haven't got the engine cover in at the moment, so we can take a look at it at first. In you go. I'm a bit worried about this one. Can't see it. There we go. It is dropped very far down, but you can see there we've got the yellow, we've got the white, we've got the blacks, and obviously that fuse box in there. But let's get that engine cover on and see. Yeah, it was all a pointless effort, although I did try to match it, so it did look a little bit like that inside. Underneath, still looking pretty cool. Obviously, that fuse box there, not painted anymore. I will also say that if you paint this engine cover, see that little tiny bit just there? That little tiny yellow bit just there underneath that bolt? That's the only bit that paints. So when it was black along with the body, that bit painted. But then I was trying to match this yellow, which was really hard, by the way. I then decided to try and paint the engine cover and see what happened there. And just that little tiny section there painted. So that was my colour matching effort, was that tiny little square of yellow there. Let's get underneath, get the gearbox and drive shaft in and get this beautiful Plymouth Fury all finished, ready to go outside into the sun. Still undecided what I'm going to do with the wheels yet. But let's get our yellow gearbox on there. That is bright. That came out a lot brighter than everything else, but there we go. Start it in there in the black, looking pretty sweet. And we need to get these final front exhaust sections in there. The chrome into the chrome there. That's why I kept them chrome. Still looking pretty sweet. That's pretty much it. Just going to get this drive shaft in. Going to do some wheels. Again, still not sure, but I will figure them out, and then we'll be outside in the sun. Here we are then, outside in the sun, all finished with Fulysic Plymouth Fury, looking absolutely fantastic with that black body and red interior in there, looking so sweet. Absolutely love that. The white lines on the body and obviously on the hood there make it look, on the roof, sorry, make it look absolutely incredible. And then we've got that big old engine cover in there that covers up our own yellow engine. So let's just take this one out a second. You can see just down there is a little bit more orange than it is yellow. The sun is very reflected off of that today. Don't normally see that too much. But yeah, as you can see, we tried to mimic it with the engine block, but it's got the big engine cover anyway. So it is what it is. Still looks pretty sweet. Absolutely love this. Brilliant job. Well done, Fulysic. It looks absolutely fantastic. Let's just go in and talk about these rims. The front rims, well, all the rims are the rim Chapman. It is what came on it, but it does suit it really well. So I just left them as they were. Different sizes, but I left them as the Chapman rim. So the fronts here are a 17-inch rim with a 215 width and a 45 profile on there on the slim white wall tyres with the gap in between. Not slicks. Hopefully we don't whack up too much power in that engine today. And then down at the back, very hidden away. You can't really see it. But these are also 17 inches. They are 265 width at the back with a 45 profile as well. Looking pretty sweet. Quite pleased with them. This one is looking very awesome. Very happy with it. Let's jump in. Check out the interior. Oh, yeah, we need to use that part. Sit there. There we go. Check out this interior. Sat very close to everything. Seems massive in size here. I don't know if that's just, are we sat really far forward? I don't know what's going on. Feels massive, but I love that dashboard. It looks so fitting. It is absolutely perfect. But it's time to get this one started. Although we all know what the 6P engine sounds like, we're still going to do it anyway. Beautiful engine, lovely tick over. To me, all it's missing is a supercharger or a turbo. A turbo on that would be insane, but supercharger would be even better. Sounding pretty sweet, but let's get this one over to the dyno and see what power it's got today. Here we are then on the dyno with the Plymouth Fury, 276 factory horsepower from the 6P engine. How much have we added today with all the performance parts? Let's have a look. A gain of 246 horsepower, 90%. I don't think I was quite expecting it to be quite that high, but there we go. Leaving us a measured horsepower now of 522 horsepower from the Plymouth Fury. Let's go have a look at the gearbox tuning setup. Here she is, a 3.2 ratio, 60 kilometers an hour in first gear, up to 379 kilometers an hour in seventh. Not sure we'll quite get there. I don't know where we'll end up. Maybe we won't even get to the 300s with this, but we shall see. Let's head over to the track. Let's find out. Here we are then on the speed track with the beautiful Plymouth Fury looking absolutely stunning. How fast are we going to get this one down the track today? Let's jump in. Let's find out. Let's go off the line. Full spinning in first and second gear there. Into third now. Now we're sort of starting to catch up a little bit. Not the quickest, I will admit. We are heading towards 200 though. Come on, little car. 200 kilometers an hour. I say little car. This is a land yacht. This is not a little car in any way, shape or form. Let's crack on though. Can we hit 250? Let's get there nice and easy. Now we're aiming towards the 300. Come on, Plymouth Fury. Use all your fury. Get to 300. Let's go. Can we get there? I don't think we're going to make it. I don't think we're even going to get to 300. 3, 4, 5, 6. 286 kilometers an hour from the Plymouth Fury now on its roof. Bit of a shame that, but 286 isn't too bad. 286 kilometers an hour, by no means the fastest, but also certainly not the slowest either. 130th on the speederboard out of 148 cars, but this is episode 149 because we did all of this fun stuff last time. Well, not you, but we did this last time at least anyway. I have since changed this into a matte livery at the request of French Toast, and it does look so much better than it did before. I think I just did it in a gloss before, but this rat look rusted patina on the matte looks absolutely incredible. Anyway, back to the Plymouth Fury. Link in the description below if you want to go and download this one from Fulysic. It is a cool mod. It is an awesome looking car, and you can also do the broken one with the for sale stuff, and it's Christine from that film. You all know what I'm talking about. But there we go. This one is absolutely incredible. Did make it onto the speederboard. Was quite respectable and looks absolutely fantastic. Really am pleased with how this one turned out. Love the interior. Shame about that little bit, but if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have been able to sit in it. Still, it looks awesome. Again, I don't like engine covers at all in any way, shape or form. I just bin them off and just let me build a cool looking awesome engine. That's my viewpoint on it. We'll leave it at that and say what it is. Sometimes they are awesome, but this one takes up everything. You can literally see nothing that I've done there, but never mind. Let's jump into some facts and figures about the beautiful Plymouth Fury. It is beautiful though. So I bought the car for $13,057 and I could have sold it there and then for a profit of $764, but we didn't do that. We've upgraded, modified, painted, and made this car look absolutely incredible. Spending $43,544 on this one, getting it to this condition here. Looking fantastic, putting our total spend at $56,601, which is not bad. I've definitely spent a lot more, but let's jump in and let's see if we can make a profit from this one. Here we go, all 100% complete now with 102,000 kilometers on it. Pretty good. Obviously, squeezed some more power out of that, now up to 522 horsepower. A gain of 90%, which again was pretty good. But can we make a profit? 66,395. It is very, very close. Take away our 56,601, leaves us with a profit of 9,794. By no means the best profit we've ever had, but profit is profit. Off you go, Plymouth Fury. You were definitely a lot of fun. I did really enjoy that. Link in description below again. Go and grab that one if you want to. Love this Mustang. It is so beautiful. But let's go back inside and see what we've got up next. We all should know it's competition time. This is going to be my FMW Panther Mark II. As you can see, it's already a little bit lower, sunken in there, looking pretty awesome. Slammed down just a little bit. We have kept the supercharged engine in there because it's pretty cool, and I do quite like it. It is currently orange by the looks of that. It's definitely not a colour we're sticking with. I have made a livery for it, as usual. Also, some fine little adjustments in here as well. You're going to have to wait till next time for that one. If you want to come and join us on the Discord, link is in the description below. Come and take part. As you can see, my Mustang that sat outside won the last competition. Absolutely fantastic. Back into law cars. Everyone's making some FMW Panther Mark IIs. They're pretty cool. So get involved, whether it's just voting for who your favourite is or getting one built and entering yourself to see if you can win the lovely chance of ending up on my pit board and in the Discord, the Red Dot Games official Discord Hall of Fame. Competition Hall of Fame, but still is in there nonetheless. Pretty awesome. Again, thank you for all of you who have subscribed. Please continue to do so. We will be trying to get higher than that. Obviously, the big goal is 1,000, but I'm not going to keep going on about it. That's it for today, though. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Please consider subscribing if you did, liking, leaving comments and all of them juicy things, as well as sharing it if you really want to. But mostly, thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.